So let's see some controversies about acquiring language. We have seen how the baby acquires the language as if the baby had already parameters, yes, in his brain, in his or her brain, genetically inbuilt to acquire the language. But is this so? Is language innate? Do we have a genetically imprinted universal grammar? Or is language handed down from generation to generation? So, if we have a universal grammar, this has to do with what Chomsky proposes. But if language is just learned from your parents, it's handed down from generation to generation. This is the idea posed by Ferdinand de Saussure. If we compare language with animal behavior, we can say that there are two kinds of animal behavior: inborn and natural, and learned or unnatural. So what is language? Is language really inborn and natural? If it is, why is it that the baby doesn't speak as soon as it is born, like an animal that has certain behaviors that it does as soon as it is born? And how is it language not learned? I mean, if you teach one particular language to the baby will know that language and not others. So is it learned or is it inborn? This division between inborn and learned is misleading because many types of behavior develop naturally at a certain age, provided that the surrounding environment is adequate. Language has these characteristics, and this is called maturationally controlled behavior. So language is not a simple issue, as you see. It is inborn, and at the same time it is learned, because it is triggered at a certain age, at a certain point in the human life. So this is an intermediate type of behavior which is called maturationally controlled behavior. What does this mean? This means that when individuals reach a crucial point in their maturation, they are biologically in a state of readiness for learning the behavior. They have a biological trigger that is activated by the environment. This means that all children learn language unless not exposed to it. So although a baby has these parameters, this universal grammar in his or her brain, if the baby is not exposed to language at a certain point in his or her life, this baby will not learn a language. You see? So you have the two components here, inborn and learned. Yes? It's like the baby has to be triggered by the environment. Another controversy is the content process controversy. The content approach says that children innately contain language universals in their brains. That is to say, they contain certain pieces of information concerning all languages. This is what Chomsky says, okay? So a baby, for example, knows all the phonemes of all the languages and even starts practicing them when they are very, very young. But then, yes, it will select the phonemes and the structures that he is exposed to and will learn a particular language. So in the content approach, the mind of the baby contains already information, contents, yes, about languages. But there is another approach, the process approach, and it says that children could not possibly contain specific language universals. Instead, they are innately geared to processing linguistic data, for which they use a puzzle-solving ability which is closely related to other cognitive skills. So what is it that the baby has in his or her brain? information about the languages, or just the ability to process linguistic data when he or she is exposed to the language? Well, we don't know. Which is the correct approach? We don't know. That's why it is still a controversy. There's a lot to study yet. This is a fascinating field. It's how a baby goes from babbling to a full language, and so fast. Maybe the baby has both, has contents, has the language universals, and also has this ability, this amazing ability of processing the linguistic data as well. We don't know. As I said, more studies have to be done. Linguistics is a field, yes, in which you can investigate lots of things that are yet to be discovered. Alright, that's all for this video. I will see you in another video.